GM Rob Pelinka spoke about the historic day.
In the history of the NBA, there's never been a father and a son that have shared an NBA basketball court. And that feels like something that could be magical. And we know and have to respect, of course, that LeBron has a decision about his opt-out. And I'm sure he and his family and his agent will deliberate what they're going to do there. And of course, he has freedom to decide whatever's best for him and his family. But if it worked out that he was on our team next season, NBA history could be made. And NBA history should be made in a Lakers uniform.
Jay Will is back, and Brian Windhorst is here.
I just think it's important to point out, great tie, Wendy. Great tie.
Strong.
Great tie. That's strong. That's strong right there.
Thank you, sir.
I just think it's important to point out that Rob Pelinka, he forgot the tissue.
Stop. Leave this man alone.
He forgot the tissue. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you have a press conference like that, stuff like that, I already called General Hospital. Already called him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to roll for him.
We got the player we've been waiting for.
Got the player we've been waiting for. And if we're lucky enough, and we'll see what happens, and it's LeBron's decision, and we'll see what he's going to do. But if that happens, I mean, everything was there, but the tissue.
The line that really got me, though, essay was, we just want LeBron to do what's right for him and his family.
Right. Oh, sure.
The drama. I love it.
Come on, man. Unbelievable.
I can't help myself. I'm sorry.
Wendy, I'm going to start with you on this one. What do you think is next for the Lakers?
Yeah, let me just follow up on Stephen A. right there. We have seen some elaborate stuff happen over the years in terms of recruiting free agents. Helicopter rides, private jets, videos, all this stuff. Nothing will top drafting the guy's son. That is going to go down as the greatest ever move to make sure you lock up a free agent. Okay, so the Lakers, they have had a big week or so hiring JJ Redick and then going through the draft, not just getting Bronny James, which is obviously what everybody's focused on, but they had a really interesting pick on Wednesday night with Dalton Connect out of Tennessee. That is a guy that there's a lot of people excited about. Okay, now they have to roll up their sleeves and really try to look at this roster. And they have an interesting set of circumstances, guys, that is going to surround D'Angelo Russell and his contract option decision, which he has to do by tomorrow. Now, I want to say a point this about Russell. Russell played 76 games last year. He was effective off the bench. He was effective in the starting lineup. He averaged 18 points in those 76 games. He shot 42% from three-point range in those games. That is a productive player. He is an inconsistent player. He is not always great defensively, but he's definitely a productive player. He has a contract for about $19 million. If he opts into that contract, it will have the Lakers going down one road. If he doesn't opt into that contract, he will have the Lakers go down the other road, and this is where the LeBron thing gets interesting. Now, first off, if he opts in, the Lakers can keep him, run it back with him and Austin Reeves in the starting backcourt. We'll see whether JJ Redick likes that. Or they can move him, Stephen A. That is exactly right. There are players out there that are available that would be interested. Kyle Kuzma is a player who's been very available in the trade market dating back to February, has been around, obviously won a championship with the Lakers. That is a player that you could include in an offer, put D'Angelo Russell in there, get the Wizards off of the money they owe Kyle Kuzma. I'm not saying either of those would happen. I'm just giving you an example of what the Lakers could do if they decided to trade D'Angelo Russell, if he opted in. They could also keep him, just to be clear. But if he opted in and they wanted to trade him, those are the types of players they could look at. Okay, now let's get interesting. Let's say D'Angelo Russell, not sure he wants to get traded, unsure of what's going to hit, what his role would be under JJ Redick, decides to opt out, okay? And to be honest with you, I don't have a great feel for what this is going to be. I thought maybe a month or so ago D'Angelo would opt out. Now I think there's a stronger chance he will opt in because the market isn't looking so great right now. We can talk about that later, but I'm now kind of leaning that direction. But if he does opt out, now we have something interesting. The Lakers don't have salary cap space, even if Russell opts out. But, guys, if LeBron was willing to take a little bit of a pay cut, now, it may sound easy for me to say little because it would be more than $10 million, but he can make about 50. If he was willing to take his salary down to about $38 million from about 50, $12 million, the Lakers would have the ability to sign players on the mid-level exception of $12 million. And it would open up more options for them in trade and stuff like that. Yeah. Now, LeBron, as you guys know, has always been, you're paying me the max money, and he's been probably worth twice that on most years, even at the max.
He is.
Times are different now. Is it possible that LeBron would engage in looking at taking a pay cut if he knew who they were going to sign? And so these are the things we're going to take, and I'm not as clear on who that would be yet because we haven't seen who's opted out of their contract and who may be available. But that is something to watch over the next couple of days.
Well, it's about who's worth it, number one. And it's about number two, if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, man, we just drafted your son. All right, we're going to develop him. We're going to help him be all he wants to be. We did that. Could you do this for us? Now, LeBron at that particular moment has a decision to make. And part of it is, okay, if I'm willing to make that decision, am I willing to make that decision? Or am I willing to look at you and say, I don't owe you no damn favors. I'm about to re-up. I'm here. And because I ain't have to be here, but I'm here. It could be that attitude. I don't think it would be. I don't think LeBron would do that, but I also don't think that he's going to shave $12 million off of his salary because Rich Paul is representing them. And Rich Paul, if nothing else, you know what I'm saying? Rich Paul ain't trying to give you a dime that he don't have to give you as an NBA team. Okay, that's not who he is. So it's going to be interesting to see what's happening in terms of what's next for the Los Angeles Lakers. But I personally believe I'm not against D'Angelo Russell, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of people who are not consistent. I'm just not. And when I saw him, there were times last year he was great. And then he'd show up the next game, and you had to put an APB out for him. Where the hell? I thought he was in the arena. I thought he was in uniform. I thought he was playing. Absolutely, positively nothing was what you got from him. One game is high, another game is low. And I think that when you're that unreliable, I believe that as a player, Jay, the 18-6 that he's due, if he opts in, he's worth that. I personally believe in today's NBA economy, he's worth $25 million a year.
Yes.
So I'm not questioning that in terms of his talent and his capability to produce. My problem with him is that he's here one day, going the next, and you can't trust him. That's my issue with D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, the D'Lo thing is the thing that's really interesting. I don't think he'll get that type of money on the market, which is why I think he'll opt in. Probably makes more sense for him to opt in. You bring up the level of inconsistency. I forget what playoff game it was where he got benched, and I remember watching the game at home and seeing him on the sideline, not engaged in the huddle. And I get that throughout different times of the season, Stephen A., you can have your ups and you can have your downs with the rotation. You can have your issues with other players on the team. But while you're in the playoffs, to me, that became a defining moment where me personally, I made the decision. He's a talented player, but while trying to win a championship, he can't get out of his own way about what the team was trying to accomplish. It was more about him during the playoffs. I don't know if I like that mentality overall with where LeBron, AD are trying to take this team.
Okay.
I think they're in a really tough situation with that.
And, listen.
That's just me personally.
I will say this. What we need to do is we need to work on, the one thing that I will say we need to work on is being far more complimentary of Anthony Davis than we have been. And it's not to say that we haven't complimented him this year, but to play 76 games.
Showed up.
To play on the level that he played on. When he didn't play on that level because he was injured, well, he always plays on that level when he's on the court. It's just that he wasn't reliable because of his injury history. But Charles Barkley had called them street clothes. I called them Six Flags because you never can know. He's a roller coaster, right? That wasn't the case last year. He showed up. And him showing up that way last year, if he does that again, let me tell you something right now. When he was there, we literally were of the mindset. Denver is the bad matchup. We viewed no one else as being a bad matchup for the Los Angeles Lakers. We have to remember that. We really, really do. And I think that elevates the level of importance that you have to apply to guard play, people that's going to be on the court with them that LeBron and AD are relying upon. Because I'm not worried about AD and I'm not worried about LeBron. I'm worried about the parts around him and who's going to show up. And number one on my list is D'Angelo Russell.
Can I tell you something? I know I heard you on the draft talk,
Sure.
and I've seen him play in person.
Okay.
And you know I'm quick to be like, oh, that's that's different. I'll tell you, I'll call Stephen A. that he ain't like that.
Right.
Dalton Connect is like that.
I like that kid. Remember, you saw me raving about him.